Welcome back, everyone. Today we are at Fox Valley Off-Road trying to get some more seat time on my new KTM 300XC. If you haven't watched my Little Summer Bummer Enduro video, I'd highly recommend going and watching that first because that was my first race and ride on this bike. And it didn't go great because I was not sure what to expect with this bike and I ended up stalling a lot. So today we're going to be focusing more on the trail riding side of things and fine tuning how I need to ride this bike. We're starting off here in this upper trail section right next to where we would start for the hare scrambles and GPs. Nice fun little section here where we can go a little bit fast. I don't think I've ever really gotten out of third gear on this bike just because of how tight the trails were in Roselawn. So trying to open it up a little bit here, but first we got to get warmed up and ease into things. Also a couple of trees down, so the storm must have came through here recently. Got going a little bit here, and one thing someone told me when I first got the bike was that you really don't know when you're going fast on this thing until you're going fast. And after this ride, I can really understand what they mean by that. Because if you're just lugging in third gear, you're not moving very fast. But if you get to the power band or you're absolutely gassing it in third gear, you're you're flying. So it's like 0 to 100 is what it seems like. It's really hard to explain. I'm sure you're sitting down right now wondering what did Tate just say? Like that makes no sense. But if you want to know, try riding a 300. Come talk to me. I'll let you ride mine, and then you can figure it out for yourself. But yes, this bike you don't know you're going fast until you're going fast. Kind of a weird statement. But regardless, we're moving to the single track section here. There's actually a lot of single track sections at this park, but this is the one that I always like riding through. Really fun section, and it can get a little bit of, or a little tight, so I enjoy it. Also, some areas of the trail are super dry, some areas are super wet. It didn't really rain throughout the week coming up to this ride, but I don't know. Maybe I missed something. I do live an hour away from Fox Valley, so maybe I wasn't paying attention to the weather in the Fox Valley area. But you can see right here, there's some puddles. So some areas are super wet, some areas are dry. You can see another tree down right there, kind of breaching into the trail. So yeah, I'm thinking there was a storm actually. Now, the week coming up to this ride, it was a tough decision for me because I love Fox Valley Off-Road. It's very close to where I live, and there is a diverse range of trails. Also, the motocross track is a ton of fun. But I've been coming here so much throughout the past 3 years that I'm getting a little burnt out, so I'm trying to expand where I'm riding at. There's a few other parks that I can ride that I haven't tried before or I haven't tried in a few years. And I just figured, I'll come to Fox Valley Off-Road this weekend because it's trails that I know and I'd prefer to ride that while I'm trying to learn this bike. So I'm trying to expand where I'm riding, diversify where I'm riding. Hence, we went to Spragueville a few videos ago. But also, wanted to come back to Fox Valley just to keep riding trails that I knew while I'm trying to learn this new bike. We'll come back out onto the motocross track here in a little bit, but they did make quite a few changes because they had a motocross race here the same weekend that the Roselawn Sprint Enduro or the Summer Bummer Sprint Enduro took place. So I wanted to do the Sprint Enduro, but also I wanted to do the motocross race. So maybe next year when they have the race here, it will be on a different weekend, hopefully, because I also want to keep doing Roselawn. But I don't know. I feel like if I really put my head down, I wouldn't do half bad in the C class at the motocross race here. Maybe something we can look into next year. So it may seem like I'm going slow through these trails, these uphills and downhills, but it's really just me being slow for one, but also testing the bike, seeing the lugging power that I have. I've been told, and also when I was researching for a new bike, you can just completely lug these things up hills, and there's really nothing they can't get up, which has been my experience so far, actually, throughout the few rides that I've done. This ride, as well as a few additional videos coming up. Also, going through the upper trails here, just seeing if I should be in second gear or riding in third gear. I'm thinking second gear for some tighter trails is better. Some people have told me shift up a gear, so if I think I should be riding in second gear, go into third gear, just because of the lugging power. But I think at my current skill level right now, as well as just how I ride, second gear, tight stuff, in the more open trails, third gear is where I'll be riding at. So this is a part of the track or the park that I feel like I neglect and never ride. This is the bottom area around where we start for the races, or parallel to where we start for the races. A lot of trails down here, but usually it's just too wet because this is where all the water from the upper part of the track, it flows down the hills and then ends up in this lower section, so it's usually just too wet. But I explored around a little bit just because, again, I've been riding this park a lot the past few years, so I wanted to switch it up today, uh, get something new in here as well. But you can have a lot of fun with the trails down here if they're dry or if you wanted to ride in some muddy stuff, because there's a lot of different paths that you can take and get yourself into a flow. Usually we stay around or away from these trails and the GPs, but the hare scrambles, there's always sections in this area in the hare scramble. So good trail to practice if you're planning on doing hare scrambles here. So I feel like the summer just flew by, and really I didn't get to ride or race as much as I was hoping to, just because with the whole virus thing, everything starting to open up again, there was a lot of things to do this summer and not a lot of time. At least that was my experience. Regardless, I am really going to put my head down and do a lot of racing and riding this fall before the season ends, because I want to get as much ride time on this bike as I can, and also I want to get as much racing in me as I can before the season ends. I do plan on doing mega tracks this off season, but I don't even want to think about the off season at this point. We still have a few more months left of racing and riding in a few races and a few rides as well. So we won't even talk about the off season at this point. Now here I come out onto the motocross track because, like I said, they had the motocross race here a few weeks ago when we were doing when we were at the um, Summer Bummer Sprint Enduro. So they made some changes to the track, and I just wanted to show you guys the changes on the motocross track. Some subtle things. A lot of the sections are similar to what we would normally expect. It's more or less this back section that really changed. Also not really doing all of the jumps here because new bike, so obviously need to get a little bit more comfortable. I know I can do all these jumps, it's just, you know, have to get comfortable with the bike first. And also I don't want to potentially ruin my brand new bike either. So this back section, you just saw the changes that were in the last GP we did here, so that's not necessarily new. This is new. This used to be a big tabletop. Now it's a much smaller, I don't even know what you would call that, um, roller maybe? Smaller tabletop, but yeah, that back section completely changed, completely new. Personally, I like it a lot. I like the changes that they made, so once we fine tune our riding on this bike, get a little bit more comfortable, then we'll come back to Fox Valley Off Road and spend a day focusing on the motocross track and seeing if we can turn some fast laps. But yeah, that's what I had to show you today. Fun ride. I felt like I got a little bit better. It's obviously something that we need to keep practicing. There's definitely a learning curve going from a different brand and also going from a 250 to a 300. So, not a bike I'm going to learn overnight. It's going to take the rest of the season, I feel like, to figure this thing out and maybe a little bit into next year. But I do feel like we got better. So, thank you all for watching. Like I said, we have a lot of races and rides planned for the next few months. So, stay tuned for those, and I will see you on the next video.